Everyone, welcome back to another week of the ArcheAge live stream. I am not Joe Brogno, if you haven't noticed quite yet. He's not here this week, unfortunately. He is off enjoying some very fine time on PTO. So, instead, you guys get me all over again. It feels weird to be re-hosting the live stream. But, hi, I'm Serafina Brennan. I'm your associate producer here on ArcheAge, and I am joined by the very lovely, and awesome Merv Lee Kwai. You might know him as Crolin. He is the executive producer on ArcheAge. Amanda Anne-Marie Fry, she is the producer on ArcheAge. And, of course, Sophie Sock Pickens. She is our localization specialist hanging out here. I don't know what the order is because I actually can't see anyone yet because my stream is so delayed. I can't see anyone of you guys. But what's up? How's everyone doing? How are you guys doing? How's chat doing?
Good.
Doing great. It's good to be back. I mean, a lot of questions about where we've been lately, and mostly just behind the scenes. But we're all still here. The band's back together, and we're ready to talk to you guys. So good to see you guys in chat as well. It's been a while.
People were concerned about your health, like legit concerned. They're like, "What happened to Crowley? Is he okay?" Like, yeah, he's doing fine. If you just ask nicely, he might be on a future live stream. I mean, Illinois just asked it today, and I told him, you asked nicely, and there you are, right?
Here I am. So ask and you'll have it. I mean, when it comes down to it, like we're mostly just working behind the scenes a little bit more these days. Yeah. But love talking to you guys. So yeah, happy to be here.
Indeed, and we have a lot to talk about today. It is a big week. I'm certain, as everyone has seen, we just recently announced a very important server announcement. We are going to be having evolutions once again, and of course we're taking it very seriously because we know what this means to you guys. It means that you guys are unfortunately going to have to give up some of your land if you're on evolution servers, but this time around we've made a series of changes to it to make it a much better process to retain as much as your progress and items and furniture and whatever you have it. All of that is going to be retained as best as possible through all of this. And we have refinements to the way we're going to be opening servers, doing them one at a time versus the last evolution, which we opened all the servers at once. So there are a lot of things that have been highly improved this time around. If you guys haven't seen it, we will be performing evolutions on September 7th through the 9th. If you aren't really into the whole evolution thing and you want to leave one of your evolution servers for 1 credit transfer, which we will be making free, by the way, during this period of time by giving everyone free temporary 10 credits, that will start on August 16th. So there are some key dates for you to keep in mind coming up here. If you haven't read our article on the website, please do. It's super informative. It answers a whole bunch of questions. But later in the stream, we're going to be answering more of your questions. So, and we'll be happy to talk about this for the whole stream. It's going to be, we expect a big topic today. And we're also going to talk about the August update today, the other big thing happening that's coming out on August 2nd. So before I waste any more time, we're on PTS today. The August update is already live and turned on. Amory's going to run around. Yay. Let's do it.
Mostly just running around the background because we know the big topics today are obviously going to be evolution, and we do want to cover that in the update. So hopefully this is just background while other questions get answered.
Indeed. So let's, really open hard with the evolutions. Merv, we were talking about this before, and of course it opened up our article on evolutions. It's why are we doing this and why have we waited so long? Because that's the other side of the question. The community has been very outspoken recently about wanting to have evolutions again. They believed it was best for the health of the game, and they were wondering why we were taking perhaps a little longer than normal to consider that option.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we're definitely not in a situation where we just periodically check on the state of servers and then decide arbitrarily that it's a good time to do evolutions. Generally, we keep a close look of what the metrics are on existing servers, and it's safe to say that some legacy servers had fallen below the acceptable state of population several months ago, and now we're just at a point where it affects the majority of the region. So evolutions are the inevitable course of action that need to happen right now. It's also, I mentioned previously that we attempted considering evolutions in the past, with the 3.0 release and even then, but populations were still at a point where it was acceptable to keep servers in their current state, but it's just an unavoidable thing that we need to endure now.
That's actually close to Ganda's price.
Right, sorry, I'm just talking with everyone. Apparently there's a weird voice and audio happening in the background right now, which we are going to see if we can actually get fixed up. So we're all fixed up. Good. So yes, we are at that point again. It is obviously super important for us to have the best server health possible, and that's why we're going down this road once again. So there are a series of servers being considered for the evolution. Let me pull up the list here. But why those servers over others?
It again comes down to the population of those servers. So the servers you see that are not being affected by the evolutions, with of course the exception of Fresh Start, are the servers that have a higher population and they meet the requirements to continue on as legacy servers. Now, there's going to be plenty of people who are on evolution servers who want to take advantage of the free transfers that will happen prior to that, and you can only transfer into a server that is not being evolved. So I do expect an influx of player on, legacy servers like Shadagon, Iana, Aaron Zeb, and Curios. So.
Yeah, and I know people were always also asking us about, why these servers were, chosen, and what did you take into consideration when we were doing this? And we took population into consideration. There's also definitely a look at, faction balance, which we also talked about on the forums. Faction balance by the numbers is actually really, really close across all servers. Now, I know some people always bring up to us, well, more people from this side show up to these PvP events at these times. And that's super hard for us to read because we can't tell who may be showing up at a certain period of time to do certain activities. But by the numbers and by participation on the servers, both factions are usually relatively very, very close. We're talking like a fraction of a percentage point or a percentage point apart when it comes to faction balance or faction population.
Yep. So we do take into a lot of things into consideration. Yeah. Population's one of them. Faction balance is another, like you mentioned. State of in-game economy, where resources, what servers are producing resources, where they're being consumed, and just general flow of ArcheAge. Now, you talk about factions and faction balance. ArcheAge has always been tricky with that, just because an individual person's experience may not be representative of the overall state of the server. It also depends on, where you consider a faction imbalance to be, whether that's in PvP or a specific battleground. Different things are taken into consideration. We saw an interesting thing happen with Morpheus Fresh Start, years ago at this point, but one side's faction was actually larger than the other, but they didn't show up to participate to things frequently, so it create that perceived imbalance. It's really hard to motivate people to perform tasks that they don't want to do. But that's just, generally how we approach faction balance, and it is a key a key factor to consider. When you look at which servers are being evolved in pairs, that's also something that's considered there.
Yeah, and just to go over the list again, just in case anyone hasn't heard about it yet, for North America, these are the 6 servers that are evolution candidates. That's Olo, Taiyang, and Salfira. They're going to be evolved into a new server called Conviction. Morpheus, Nazar, and Hanor will be evolved into a new server called Thunderwing. For Europe, we're looking at Caprosa, Dahuda, and Rangora will be evolved into Tempest. And then Leviathan, Anthelon, and Saroth will be evolved into Retribution. So those are the way the servers are going to be merged together. Of course, with this, a new 3rd server will come about for those of you who haven't been involved in an evolution before. That means when it reopens, everything's going to be reset. Everyone's going to have the same equal shot at claiming land, at claiming castles, at reclaiming, the parts of the world that you previously had before. And we do that because we want to make sure we're giving everyone a fair chance. There's not one group getting a significant advantage from already being there, or from us in this case in a traditional sense merging servers, because that would give an edge to whoever's server we're keeping, and the other people are then transferring to it. So that's sort of the idea of why merges and why evolutions, and not merges, or a traditional merge structure for ArcheAge.
And I'm sure you guys can see, there's a lot of information in the blog post that was released. Obviously, there's still more to come there, but this has been something that's been in consideration for quite some time now, and we just decided to move forward with it because the timing is right. And there's a lot of stuff like what Celestrata just mentioned. We also, in the past, considered what we would consider a traditional merge, and that would just be taking some legacy servers or older servers and merging them into an existing legacy server that was of higher population. But it's appropriate when we're going 3 to 1 to create to follow the evolution process.
Yeah, right. Zorkath just asked, what about the servers that aren't being evolved? Do they just stay the same, or does anything happen there? They just stay the same. Nothing's going to happen there. Those servers are going to continue on as is. So if you're on one of those servers, this doesn't impact you at all then. You can just kind of kick back and relax.
You know, I would say it does impact a little bit, and that's just because there will be an influx of new players coming in from Evolution servers that didn't, or Evolution server candidates that opted to free transfer prior to the release. So should be a decent amount of people coming in. I mean, I would expect, you know, several hundred to each of them.
And we should also note there with the transfers, and because people also have concerns about faction balance or the way, you know, player nations are being handled, you know, even with servers that aren't evolving and they're receiving new transfers in, they're still under the restrictions of the server transfer service. So that means if the system sees that one faction is just getting more transfers into another, they could be limited for a certain faction for a period of time. If one server gets more people than another, it could be temporarily turned off for that server to encourage players to go to other servers. So those things are still in account even during this whole process. We're not going to be like just opening the floodgates and all of a sudden, you know, West is going to blow up on one side. Where we want to avoid that as much as possible. So that's a lot of information. I know you guys probably have questions, but I wanted to devote some of the time today to talk about the upcoming August update, which will be happening on August 2nd. If you guys haven't seen it yet or want to learn more about it, you can actually drop by our public test server, check out the patch notes posted there, and get a early look at the different festivals that are going to be going on and the brand new bug fixes come into the game. For August, we're looking at 2 new events. One's called the Call of the Daru, which is very much an Aurora-focused event. It involves going up to Reedwind and building towers, doing guild quests, sort of like empowering guilds to sort of group together and take on the Thunderwing Titan. If you do those events, you actually will get a special potion from the honor shop, as well as honor points, you know, in the range of like 400 to 500, depending on what daily quest you are completing. And that will be starting at the earlier part of the month, from about August 2nd all the way to August 16th. Later in the month, we're going to be bringing back the Blue Salt Festival, which is the 3rd time this festival's around. I think everyone knows it as the Fried Chicken Festival.
Yay, fried chicken. That's my favorite part.
That's when Sock speaks up.
Right? I came over here, but it's not on yet on
I'm here
PTS.
for beer and fried chicken.
So tell us about the Blue Salt Festival, Sock.
Yeah, so the Blue Salt Festival is the festival that takes place in Sandeep, where Amory is standing right now. When the event starts up, you will see the world gates at your usual locations in Ostera, Marianople, and Diamond Shores that will take you right there. Of course, the zone is going to be in peace for the event. And there's a series of quests that you can complete to earn tokens to get awesome rewards. The first 2 quests that you will encounter are the artists Vivolt and Mendelssohn, who need your help completing their painting. And from doing that, you can get your own Sandeep picture. They give you 1 scrap, 1 of 3 scraps every time you complete the quest. And then the 3 pieces can be crafted together into a picture at the festival exchanger. Then the other series of quests that you can do is helping build this sand sculpture of the goddess Nui. There was a mother and child statue, and one more I can't remember. Doing that gives you tokens as well, and then there's going to be a time-sensitive quest as usual, which is killing the big monsters that show up at the shore here to attack the festival goers. Then the rewards that you can get from completing those quests are things like you get a crest umbrella that you can get, a regular umbrella. There's 4 cool sand sculpture statues that you can use as your furniture items. There is 2 new items which are buff items. One is a beer that will give you 100 labor. There's also fried chicken that you can eat, and that will actually give you a buff that increases your HP, mana, move speed, and I think prediction time. What else is there as far as rewards go?
There's the crest umbrella and the umbrellas. Yeah. There's also the paintings that you can get. Someone just asked in chat, are they the same pictures as last year? Yes, they are.
Yes.
And then there's also the more controversial items, which are the Grand Blues dive helmet and the other diving equipment, which we're getting a little bit of negative feedback on right now. So we're going to talk with our PTS testers about that a bit more. But basically, people are like, they're cool, but they're not cool enough to be cool for a festival. So thank you for the feedback already. We really do appreciate it.
Most importantly, you get your fried chicken that you can put in your house.
Yes. The baked chicken and the fried chicken. The fried chicken is the buff. The baked chicken is you can sit in your home.
Also, there's actually going to be achievements. So same as with the Rum Rum Festival, you will get credit for past participation. So there's a good chance once the event kicks off that you'll get a bunch of completed achievements from that. And it's the things that you expect. Completing quests will do your achievements, go to the event for 10 times with the World Gate. What else is there? That's pretty much all I can think of right now.
There's a whole
achievements.
There is a whole slew of achievements there, and as she mentioned, the minute the August update happens, if you qualify for any of the achievements from past year's festivals, you'll automatically get them on the day of the August update, which is of course August 2nd. So there you have it on the Blue Salt Festival. There are also bug fixes coming into the game as well. That's going to be things like we're looking at the Violet Bloom thing again. We know that it still causes the suspicious activity debuff from time to time. There's been additional coding added in to help reduce that. But then there's also more cosmetic changes, things like you can now display your Rampage cars on the car display stand. And there's a couple others that are specific for our region that the community found and asked for, and they're being changed for the August update, which is very exciting. So make sure to check it out. Test it if you can. Drop by the test server. We're here open all weekend, and we appreciate your feedback in the public test server forum. So thank you guys in advance, and we hope to see you on the server. And now,
you gotta tap that again. You really have to.
I'm running out of scrolls. I finally got my epic tuna.
You got epic tuna?
Yes.
Go Eternal.
I mean, you really got, you don't have any more scrolls? I see one.
I got 2.
You can do it.
I'm just like blowing stuff up while you guys were talking about important stuff.
That was so distracting, by the way. I'm like trying to talk like, oh god.
It's like achievements, epic tuna.
Right?
Tuna.
Well, someone was saying they only watch for the tuna club, so I'm like, all right, I gotta deliver on that.
Yeah.
You know,
so let's actually take... Oh, go ahead, Murph. Sorry.
I was just saying that you guys have been asking some questions about evolutions in chat, and I've been writing them down. So, Sarah, whenever it's a good time, I can work through these.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to jump on one question, which is actually kind of important. It's from Oreo. It's about, what about the UI lag? And there is a known issue where sometimes on certain computers, at certain times, because I won't say what the times are because everyone has given me a different cause of this bug. There have been like 9 causes of this bug. But basically, you will begin to get frame rate loss whenever your mouse moves over a piece of the inventory or your hotbar. We know about this. We are trying to reproduce it in-house here at Tryon, and Excel is trying to reproduce it as well. They are looking at it, but unfortunately, we haven't found a definitive cause. So that's why we've been still asking for more information from the community. But the trick is to this, no one has found a way to somehow reproduce this in a similar manner every time. There's not that one thread that we can find that's like, oh, it's this, so you just change this around and it's going to fix it. So that one has been a little elusive, but still is a hot priority issue for us, and I want you guys to know that's still being worked on. So if you have any more information, please post it. It actually is very helpful, especially right now, to help us sort of narrow down what is causing this sort of this problematic bug. So jump in. You have evolution questions? Ask away. I know, Merv, you have the ones you just wrote down, so let's do it.
Okay, a couple of these are pretty easy. Other ones are need a little bit more depth of discussion. But first of all, somebody asked if there would be fresh start servers included with evolutions, and that's a no. So there will be no fresh start servers in September when we do, or no new fresh start servers in September when we go through evolutions. Another question about spawn locations after evolution. So if you are on a new evolution server, that means, like in this example, let's use Olo, Tiang, and Salfira. If you log in from either of those servers on the new evolution server, where will you be? So your current location on the new evolution server depends on your faction. There you go. Someone mentioned it in chat just now in the starter zone. So West faction will appear in Soulsreed or in Grionid Forest, depending on your race. Same with Harani and Warborn and Eastern factions, Viren.
Or Cradle, right? If you're Dwarf.
Yep, if you're Dwarven. And then if you are a pirate faction, you will spawn on Growlgate. Now, there's some confusion over where a potential nation player would spawn. Right now, in our current condition, that's only the Sovereign. And he's spawning in the same east or west racial zone. So we're looking into a potential ability to move the Sovereign elsewhere because obviously they're subject to PvP if they spawn there. That rolls into the next question: what happens to nations and castles? Now we have a situation where we're moving 3 servers to 1, so that's condensing a lot of Aurora land. It's our approach that nations will be preserved by the sovereign maintaining the nation status and their current place, but members in the nation will be removed. The sovereign will be able to add them without having castle ownership when the evolution occurs. And we're looking into how the guild or how the player cap on the nation will work, assuming that not all castles will be owned by a nation and their max population will not be increased at that point. So we're looking into how we could potentially affect that. Nations will then, band together as the sovereign invites them. Diamond Shore's bases will be set to rank 2. So players on the new evolution server will have to rank it up to rank 3. After that point, the purification monolith will spawn as normal on a Sunday, and all players will have the opportunity to land rush Aurora when the monolith appears. Again, it's important to note that we are advancing Diamond Shores only to rank 2, and then players will rush appropriately. Now, that creates a situation where when evolution servers are first open, it's mostly southern land in the newer zones in the north that are contested for land. And then Aurora land is claimed after castles are claimed. So looking at my list again, for guild naming collisions, I took that as a note to look into to see, since guilds are preserved, if there are guilds of the same name across multiple servers, how that will be resolved, unless you know offhand, Serafina. Otherwise,
I do not. Name collisions for both guilds and players are still being discussed. So.
Yep. Okay, and if you guys have more questions, please ask them. I'll continue to write them down. Serafina, if you have other questions for me regarding evolutions, please ask away.
Right, we can just pull them up here. So looking at, so if a nation is made, will nations basically get castles off the bat when they arrive in a new fresh start server? Fresh start, wow, I'm reading the questions too much. If they arrive in a new evolution server.
Sorry, you're saying, is that the thing that I just talked about?
No, will nations automatically just get a castle, or will they be handed a castle?
No, they won't. So they're going to have to go through the process I just described, where the sovereign will have the nation status preserved. He or she will re-invite on the new evolution server. The nation will be formed at that point, but it will be castleless. So Diamond Shore's bases will have to be evolved to rank 3. The purification monolith will spawn the following Sunday, and then a traditional Aurora castle rush will occur.
Yep. New Adventures just asked, so for players that are affected by the evolution, any items in their storage chest that will be kept in their mail for 1 year, is that correct? And that is yes, and that is the current case for any system mail. So demolition mail right now, auction mail, things from the evolution, those are all kept in your inbox for 1 year. We know that there's a tooltip on live right now that says shorter. That is an incorrect tooltip. It is actually longer. Just to make sure that's a little bit clarified. We just discussed what happens to names on evolution. We're still looking into that, so we can give you guys the exact conditions of how name conflicts will be handled, and that goes for both players and guilds and nations. I don't think there are any nations that have the same name, so there's not going to be an issue there. But we want to make sure that we give you guys the best information possible on how the name conflicts are going to be handled. So evolution question, I have a unique crest that I originally placed. My last computer broke. I have it on my house, but I can't recover it. How can I get it back? Ooh, that's a tough one. And unfortunately, because UCCs are handled on a per server basis, when we do the evolution, if you're on an evolution server, they will be cleared. So the only way you can sort of get your UCC back in that case, if you don't have it on your local computer, would be to recreate it in some way. Or, take a screenshot, save it, see if you can sort of recreate it from the screenshot. Those things might be able to help you out, but there's no way to sort of move those over during the evolution. Neural N, question, do you have to spend all of your prestige before the evolution? No, you do not. Your prestige will be kept and it will be reimbursed to you after the evolution is completed. Basically, during the process, you will be put into the new evolution server. You'll start with 0 prestige, and then you'll get an item in your mail that will give you your necessary amount of prestige back. So you'll use that to sort of regain what you had. How are homes being built, and how do full kits work with the evolution?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
So if you're on a evolution candidate server and you have a house built, That'll be restored to you the same way that it was with the 2.0 evolutions, and that means we bring servers down, we run a script, it collects all of the housing that's currently placed, and delivers it to your same character on the new server. So it'll be waiting for you in your mail as a full kit format, along with a lot of the decor and items that were stored there. Now, if your house...
I'm done. I can't handle this UCC anymore.
Come on. If your house is not built, so it's in middle tier status where it's placed but not fully built, it'll be returned to you on the new evolution server as the deed. So that would not be returned as a full kit. Can you go back to that now? Like, I tried to maintain my train of thought.
Everything about
awesome
this UCC house is everything I love.
I need to see that sign on the front.
The Oreo columns are so good.
Oh my goodness.
Baskin Harders. Crow lime pie.
Why did I get a pie?
I don't know. I got Amory Amaretto, and I like Amaretto, so that's pretty legit. I'm okay with that. This is so good. Sorry.
Crow lime.
It's beautiful.
With Thunderwing topping.
Right? Everything I've seen on this island has been awesome.
Why was the dimensional storage chest design retired from the game? I read your thread on the forums about that, and I've been looking into it. Someone mentioned that there was a patch note saying it had been retired, and I can't find that patch note, so we will ask to make sure it's not a bug. So we're going to look for more information for you on that. Alan Strong Thief, what about a level 6 guild who's almost a level 7? Will you lose all of your current level 6? No, you won't. So the way that will be handled on the new server is the guild leader will keep the name, they'll go to the new server, they'll have their guild at level 1, they'll get a series of items to basically re-level their guild. Tokens that will re-grant guild experience up to your old value, and you'll also get guild ribbons up to your old value. So for your case, you'll get enough guild ribbons to carry you all the way up to 6, and then you'll get guild experience tokens that will carry you through most of the way through 6. So even half levels or partial levels will still be saved. And also just to put out there as well, because I know this was a question earlier, if you have quests, especially long-term quests like the Ionod Library quests or the Dream Ring quests, those will be saved in progress as well. So you don't have to worry about losing progress on any of those quests. All good questions.
One from chat. Will nations that fail to get castles in the castle rush get disbanded during the evolution? So if you're a nation, I suggest that you get a castle as quickly as possible because you need that to support your existing organization. But in event that you don't, we're going to be talking about that a little bit more in the future, and I don't have the answer offhand. But I do believe you will be in decay status if you don't have that castle. So yeah, we'll get you exact information on it.
I can answer actually that. You will be in pending collapse if you don't get a castle. Yeah. So you need to get that back.
But it's not like your nation dissolves immediately if you don't get a castle.
Right. You have time to claim it.
Yeah, and there's a long period of time that it takes to decay, so you will have another siege cycle. If you don't get around the first time, you can get together in siege and maybe reclaim before your nation collapses. The pending collapse is a pretty long period of time.
So Be Kosher 2 in chat asks about all of his thousands and thousands of small seed oil and other crafting materials that he has stored across 20 chests. He mentions that he has a lot of it. How will that be transferred to an evolution server?
So really simply, all of that stuff is going to be basically whatever's in your chest is going to be saved and sent back to you as a normal demolition mail. So you'll get that stuff back no problem. If it was an item, so going outside of your seed stuff or your inventory stuff, that stuff's the easy case. No worries there. You'll get that stuff back. The harder case is any item that would normally be destroyed and house demolished or couldn't normally be picked up before a house demolish. For those items, we're actually going to be looking at what you owned and then sending you back a replica of it. And this will be an exact replica. It will, for your fish trophies, it will still have all of the correct fish trophy data, like what fish it was, how big it was. So all of that down to that granularity will be saved. It'll just be sitting back in your mail when you log back in. Now that does bring up a really good point that we should discuss here. You will have a lot of mail when you log back in.
Like the most mail you've ever seen. We're talking pages and pages of mail.
Yeah, it will be crazy. And we've also noticed in the past that sometimes the mail system, when you have a lot of mail, it will remove slowly during the evolution. So be prepared for that. Don't freak out. It will retrieve. It is all there. Trust us on this one.
It's just everyone loading their mail at the same time.
And I mean,
yes.
when we evolved for the 2.0 release way back when, I was suspicious about how effectively we could return everybody's stuff. And was pleasantly surprised when a vast majority of it did get returned. Now, my recommendation has always been to pack as compactly as you possibly can on your character and in your warehouse. So definitely prioritize items that way. And man, do you really even need all of that other stuff? Like I know players like me, I've been hoarding for a long time and have just chests filled with all kinds of stuff that I intend to use someday, right? Like that day has never come, but it's still all there. Yeah, I mean, just pack appropriately and prioritize appropriately. But what we saw last year, even with players that had just thousands and thousands of items, they were returned in mail.
Yep, it will all be there when you log back in. Evo question, will affected players get a title/achievement? You'll get a title, actually. There's a new title coming out this year. So even if you had the previous title, which was World Walker, there will be a new title available this year. And we're going to be announcing that on August 16th when we really dive deeply into what's in the compensation packs, or what's being reimbursed, basically. I should also note that in the compensation packs, we are looking to provide 2 key things that players asked for last year. One of them was off the bat, Bounds Hereafter Stone. So you guys will be getting 50 of them before you even log in, and that way you can jump to old teleport points. Your custom teleport points, like things like that you made at a house, those will be wiped. But anyone that is a normal teleport point, things like towns, dungeons, etc., those will be saved. We will also be giving everyone 1 free one-time use anywhere post-owl. So you'll be able to just use that item, open up your mail, so that way you can run to where you want to go, open your mail, get your designs out, and then plop them down. That's the idea behind that. So that way people with the permanent post owls don't have an advantage over people who don't have permanent post owls.
A couple questions from chat. The order in which items are distributed to you on the new Evolution server in your mail. It's basically, I mean, like the way this works is when servers are down, we basically parse every single house that exists and deliver it in the order that it's parsed. So there is an order of operation, but it's highly unlikely that your things will be distributed with priority in your mail. So generally it's going to be in the order that the house was deconstructed. I would imagine the full kit comes first, furniture comes second, and the rest of the stuff that's stored inside of it comes third. The order that your houses are delivered in will probably be RNG based on the way that we bring zones down. So it's a little bit difficult to organize that stuff, and you guys should be prepared to sift through mail to find the stuff that you need.
Also, early warning, there's so much stuff being given back this year from guilds and families and houses and your prestige, nations. All of this stuff is getting reimbursed in different ways. That's going to cause a lot of stress on the servers with everything being sent out all at once, so things could come slowly. So if you log back in and you're like, my houses are here but all my extra furniture isn't, that could be why. And so we're going to be basically prioritizing the most important things up top: your houses, tax certs, things like that, the things you need the minute you log back in. Some of the less higher priority ones will be put later in the cycle, and you'll get that back perhaps a little bit later after the servers are opened. But it is our intention to do as much of this as possible before the servers are open to you. So I'll be waiting for you.
Question from chat: will fresh start servers be shut down during the evolution process? And the answer is yes. And that's because all of the servers are on the same region and they share some hardware and use the same DB. And a lot of maintenance and scripts are being run there. So while it could be possible for Fresh to remain up, there's some risks that are associated with that. So we'll likely just have the entire environment down for the evolution.
Yep. Foxlane, will our favorites in teleport books stay? I have to check on that. I don't want to give you an answer without making sure. But we do have a very comprehensive document on what stays and what doesn't. And I'll let you know. I'll just ping you on the forums afterwards.
I know I saw a question earlier. Did you guys already talk about house rotation? I know that's like a relatively minor thing, but people are trying to speed place houses, and someone was asking, how do we get house rotation so they can just place quickly and deal with it later? That is coming in a later update. It won't be available right when we do evolutions, but in an upcoming update, we will gain the ability to rotate houses without destroying them. So depending on how concerned you are about that, if you can wait like a little while longer after you place it, you'll be able to do that.
Yep. Will level 1 alts be deleted? No. That's an easy one. No. Do you keep your recall point? Yes, you do. Oh. I have to double check that. I think you do. But we will double check that.
It's likely not. I mean, with
Yeah.
2.0 you didn't, I believe. So yeah, I mean, the experience when people log in after the evolution is everybody's in their starting zone, and there's like a million portals all over the place because porting to NPC locations to drop houses as quickly as possible. Different type of land rush because everybody's progressed, but yeah, I don't believe recall points are safe.
Right. I mean, custom points aren't, and we do that to make sure people can't just like teleport back to their homes and then immediately drop again.
Yeah.
So from pseudo-realism, will nations keep their 200 cap if they currently have it, and will nations with 100 cap keep their 100 cap once the EVO servers are here? Remember, cap is determined by how many castles you own. So when the EVO servers first open up and all the sovereigns are brought back, they don't own castles. We're checking into what limit that places you at, either 50 or 100. And we're going to check into that for you guys.
Several people from chat are pointing out that recall points did save last time, so that's good to note. We'll get confirmation on it. I mean, I expect it to be the exact same way that it was last time. So thanks for pointing out that that's the case.
Yep, thank you guys. I think we've answered quite the number of questions. Oh, Pariah Place, how did you come about choosing the names for the new servers? Well, what you do is you get myself, and then Amory, and then Amazonia from our localization team, and you pile us all into a room, and then we all throw names at each other really, really fast.
So, a funny story about that, I tried to name the servers X plus fish sign and pirate emote, but they wouldn't let me name them emojis.
No.
But that's the kind of crap we throw out there until we actually get some good names.
I mean, we're thinking of like, really great names that people would want to be on, and I'll serve in our current rotation where we have like, Vengeance and Reckoning. We start moving away from, the gods and monsters for now and going towards these powerful words. But we did put in Thunderwing because Thunderwing's new and awesome. Conviction came up, and then Tempest was because we were watching a little bit of the news from KR, and we were getting really excited, and then people were like throwing out sea terms because of the new naval stuff. I'm not sure if anyone has seen. I'm certain everyone has been very excited about watching that from KR. But Tempest was sort of in that vein.
YOLO is a good Quilladon.
YOLO.
Some good ones. YOLO is good. Best Yang.
Yeah, Quilladon mentions manure. I mean,
I was not going to say it.
We're talking about server names, and I'll never forget. I'll never forget. In 2.0, when we announced the new evolution server names, and we picked Hanur, that cool boss in Hasla, and it turned into manure quickly. I was like, come on. So yes, we do consider things like that with the new names
try to
as
make
well,
it not
and
that,
try to not do that. We also try and consciously not pick a server name that is too similar to an existing server name on a region. Yeah. That means like the letter it begins with, and there's a little bit of method to our madness, but mostly we're just looking for cool names for servers.
I know one of the ones that came up was Riptide, and I know we stayed away from that one because we knew what the first response would be, which was, well, Riptide is Rip.
Rip. Yeah.
Yep. Someone just asked, of course, now that the information in KR is available, someone has to ask, when is 4.0 coming?
I can confirm that it is. Just not when yet.
Yes.
I mean, it just happened in Korea, and if you guys are looking into the features there's some exciting stuff that we're looking forward to. A shout out to our creators who translate that information and post it for everybody to see. I take a look at the stuff you guys post, and it's pretty spot on. Of course, we don't know how many changes will happen to the stuff that's released there before we get it. It is our intent that 3.7 is wrapped into the 4.0 version. But yeah, as we get closer, you guys are familiar with our lead up, and we'll talk about it.
Yep. Then. We can talk about that more. 3.7 and 4.0 will be tied together.
Yep.
So we know that there's a lot of exciting stuff in there. Luna Gems, really awesome.
Yeah, Loom Gem stuff's interesting. Cross-server arenas is a really big thing. I mean, this is all not really spoilers because it's live in Korea, so people have probably seen that. Pretty hyped about it.
Will the new races be released anytime soon?
Man, I wish. I hope so. When we start seeing those being released anytime in Korea, we will start knowing when we get them. It'll be awesome.
Quilladon mentioned something in a chat about what will happen to the status of storage packs in silos during the evolution. I would imagine that they'll be gone. So hopefully you guys will take care of those packs, and I'm going to get better information than my guess at what will happen to forward it to you guys so you can plan accordingly. But I do anticipate that packs will be dissolved and not returned, mostly because how do they get returned? You can only have one on your back.
My Perdita collection.
Yeah.
Sorry, Quill.
Time to cash them in, I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Turn that stuff in.
And then you can rebuild it again. Yay.
Yay. Yes.
Want to give some stuff away?
Yes, I think we are. And have we considered renaming existing servers? No, that would be confusing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm on Allo, and one day you log in and Allo's now named something else, that would be a little different. They heard the giveaway. I have to be like Joe now. Joe makes them write different words, so I can't do like the X thing anymore. Like that's what he told me.
I don't know. I'm here, so they can X away, and you can plus away too if you're on EU. I'm not going to make you say a word. Let's go old school with this one and just X up for some.
They're already doing it.
You guys got it.
Oh, I see a banana.
Banana. Thanks, Time Machine.
All right, so we're giving away Newey's Chosen costumes today. We're going to give away 3 of each color. That is blue, red, and white. We'll also give away an Archean pack, but let's roll those costumes. I believe Amory is wearing one right there. It's a pretty awesome looking.
That's the courageous one.
Yeah.
So
I see that big dad, dude. I see that X.
He's trying to win. Trying to snipe.
So we'll roll red first, and let's go ahead and do that now. So actually, it says blue first. Let's do blue first.
Okay.
Well, look, we have a fashion show. Hang on, we got a fashion show.
That's the hard one to get. I want a blue one.
And someone had asked, why are these people wearing full Aranor gear? What server is this? It's PTS. Fluffy gave it to them.
Yes.
Fluffy gives, sometimes Fluffy taketh away.
It's true.
Sometimes Fluffy goes to sleep for several weeks.
Fluffy gets, he's a hard-working man.
He is. He gets some time off. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. How many are we rolling?
Okay, 3 of each.
Okay.
That was a lot of fingers. 3.
Expendable 0.
I see an F the horn. Thank you for that F the horn. That was pretty great.
Pandolfo.
Pandolfo.
That's for the blue one, right?
See some snack references.
We're doing 3 red ones first, right?
Pandolfo 69.
Blue.
Congratulations. Expendable 0. Congratulations.
Congrats.
This is the 3rd one. Ron Clem. Congratulations, Ron Clem.
Blue is my favorite out of all 3.
Is
it?
It
Has the fancy shoulders.
It's true. It's got the shoulder thingy.
It's the plate one. It looks so cool.
3 red versions. Here we go.
Go, go, go.
Ebony Care Bear. Congratulations.
Yay. Now you look awesome.
Honey _ AA. Congrats on your red Newey's Chosen costume.
Roll, roll.
Toe Jammin'.
Toe Jammin'.
Toe Jammin'.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Toe Jammin'. White costumes. Come on, let's do it.
Does not come with his
G-Man
wings.
909. Congratulations on your white Newey's Chosen costume. The one on the screen there, pretty cool.
Yep,
looking.
but not with the wings. The wings are Aranor.
Wings are separate. Sergeant Rumble, you just got one. Congratulations. And the last one goes to SD Buddha.
San Diego Buddha.
Congratulations, SD Buddha. Now we're going to roll an Archean pack.
Oh!
Ooh, big one.
Yes,
Big plays.
Roll, roll, roll.
Kilco _ congratulations on
really
your
cute
Archean
avatar.
pack. Kilco
Congrats.
_
All right, guys. We know that you guys have had a lot of questions. Before I even get into more of that, if you guys won any of the giveaways today, we'll be messaging you afterwards. Look for a message from TrionWorlds in your main Twitch inbox or in the Twitch other inbox, it's sort of like the spammy folder. Sometimes they go in there. It happens. But if you can respond back to us with some of the answers to our questions, basically like what character, what server, we can get you your items ASAP. It usually takes about a week for us to go through the process because we have to like send you a mail and then you respond back. So if you don't get it immediately, don't worry, but we try and get them out as fast as possible to you. Expendable Zero, you just bought all 3 costumes.
I'll take it. I need the blue one. I'll take it.
That's how it works, right? You win after you get them all.
Yeah, use the prize one and all. There you go.
There you go.
So give it to a friend. One of the two. There must be someone you like, you know. So that's how you can claim your giveaways. If you have more questions on the evolution, we are answering them ASAP as well. Visit the forums, go to the official discussion section, and pretty much permanently stuck at the top is the evolution discussion. I'm gonna be through there, and when Joe gets back next week, he'll be answering questions too, and we'll be trying to get you guys the best answers we can. And also read the article. The article actually addresses as many concerns as possible because I know that everyone has their own personal concerns, like what happens to my sheet music? Or my favorite from the last one, which was, if I have a phonograph and it's a trade pack, yes, your sheet music saved. Yes, your phonograph is saved. We got this all on lock. So otherwise, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Quick round table. What are you guys doing this weekend? Anything exciting?
No.
Getting chicken.
Chores.
Well, you caught us off guard.
Cooking.
That's not us
I haven't
thinking
thought
ahead
that
at all.
far.
Damn, you need to get a life, I guess.
I tried. I'm gonna go sell more Lunarite because I have way too much of it.
I'm actually playing Dungeons and Dragons, so that's fun.
That's pretty legit.
I kill some
That's
ogres
good.
and orcs.
Tabletop gaming, that's awesome. No, that was for ArcheAge giveaways, by the way, that we just gave out. Trophy giveaways, pretty much the same process, though. Keep an eye on your inbox. But otherwise, thanks, guys, for dropping by. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah.